I want you to accept my idea of normal. And if you don't accept it, I'm gonna run to the criminal cartel known as government and force you to accept it. If you still reject my idea of normal, I'll make sure you're fined. And if you resist that fine, then me and the government will make sure you get jail time. Because that's how today's social justice and forced acceptance works, folks. The buzzword is tolerance. But the only thing that will not be tolerated is your intolerance to my idea of normal. So, what does our government want us to consider normal these days? Barack Obama has appointed a man who identifies as a woman to serve on his advisory council on faith-based neighborhood partnerships. Earlier this year, we learned about Dr. Richard Levine, a man who identifies as a woman as Pennsylvania's new Physician General. Not to be outdone by the state, the Obama administration has kicked things up a notch with the appointment of a cross-dressing, gender-bending man of its own. But perhaps what's more surprising than the who part of the appointment is the to what. Last Thursday, the White House announced that the National LGBTQ Task Force's Barbara Satin has been appointed to serve on President Obama's Advisory Council on faith-based neighborhood partnerships. Faith-based, let me see now. The government mixing with religion. Seems like I remember something somewhere about separation of church and state. That any government wants to have an advisory council on anything faith-based points to how the criminal elements in high places want their hands shoved deeper into everybody's pie. Here's how the White House's own website introduces this guy in drag. Quote, Barbara Satin is the Assistant Faith Work Director for the National LGBTQ Task Force. She is an active member of the United Church of Christ and served on the denomination's Executive Council as its first openly transgender member. Now, besides being some of the ugliest looking individuals ever to attack the human eyeball, these people, these men, and yes, their DNA is the objective scientific standard by which you and I can call them men. These guys want to shove their gender identities and sexual preferences down our throats with new state and federal mandates and presidential appointments. Look guys, you and I are free moral agents, which means we're free to make our own decisions. I can't help that people out there are entangled in gross perversions like this guy, Todd Nickerson, who wants us to believe that he's a, quote, virtuous pedophile, and abnormal behavior from the likes of this 52-year-old sicko, Stephanie Walsh, who wants us to believe that he's a 6-year-old little girl who likes to kiss 300-pound male bikers while they try on one of his cute little dresses.
You know, when you see a guy that's 300 pounds with a goatee who pulls in a Harley and is going through my closet and saying, can I wear this dress? Can I wear that dress? You know, or can I kiss you when I'm wearing the dress?
But no one should seek the help of the government mafia to use our tax money to promote religion, sexual orientation, or anything for that matter. This is just another example of the horrors of statism. You know, statism. That delusional belief that government is necessary for a civilized society and that some people have a moral right to govern other people through force. This is a cult, one of the most dangerous cults in history. Besides, aside from all this, what does sexual orientation have to do with taking any position anywhere? That is, unless you're going to be putting in an application to the porn industry. So what does this mean, guys? If I was introduced as a White House advisory member, would it go something like this? Brian is the Assistant Objectivist Work Director for the National WHM-WL, which is the White Heterosexual Male Woman Lovers Task Force. Maybe it could go on to say, he's an active member of the human race and serves as a patriot who wants to see individual rights protected by local communities and the violence-based centralized criminal organization known as government completely vanquished from the earth, and the parasitic psychopathic puppets who pretend to run the show tried by a jury of their peers and held accountable for their heinous crimes against humanity. Additionally, Mr. Young wants to see the curtain which hides the true robber barons torn asunder, and the power brokers who control the issuance of national currencies, direct multinational organizations, steal the wealth of the citizenry, wage wars against the people, imprison non-violent, peaceful individuals, spy on the activities of free moral agents, create destructive policies that cage the innocent, manufacture laws which criminalizes the general population, and cultivate an atmosphere of fear which leads to the extermination of millions brought to swift justice in a very public forum. Guys, if it's not all about sexual orientation, why does the government continue to embroil themselves in and herald the sexual predispositions of the people that it accepts on its advisory councils? Maybe the rest of my resume could read, Brian is one of the council's openly heterosexual males who realizes that no sex is assigned to anyone at their birth. You are what you are, and you got what you got. Reality doesn't bow down to or conform itself to anyone's feelings, whims, surgical procedures, fantasies, perversions, hormone replacement therapies, gender reassignment foolishness, or any other attempt to escape from the truth, reason, and good old common sense. Guys, in regard to gender identity, the bottom line is this. Double X chromosomes are always female. XY chromosomes are always male, and never the twain shall meet. DNA never has and never will lie. And the truth is the truth, even though no one believes it. And a lie? Well, it's a lie, even if everyone believes it. Because in a time of universal deceit, telling the truth becomes a revolutionary act, even if that truth is labeled as the new hate speech. Guys, thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. If you want to support the work I do here, head on over to my store and pick up one of these hard-hitting, conversation-starting shirts that are pretty much guaranteed to provoke thought and spark dialogue as we continue to educate people about what's actually going on in the world today and how these issues directly affect us as individuals. You'll find the link to the store in the description below, and you can use the 5-off promo code to get your discount. Until next time, remember what Thomas Edison said. Opportunity is missed by most people because it's dressed in overalls and looks like work. Let's roll up our sleeves and do the work that it's going to take to change this world. I'll see you guys in the next video.